Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Fitrati Soliha. Here I would like to present my presentation about innovation in teaching strategies vocabulary in subject Cielt Class E. Innovation in teaching strategies vocabulary. As one of the language components, the role of vocabulary in language learning cannot be doubted. It is considered as essential elements to build a good language competence. Its functions is like a foundation of which determine the endurance of a building. A building may be easily collapsed with a great foundation which supports the entire unit. Thus, without having adequate vocabulary, language learners would not be able to develop their language skill effectively. Teaching vocabulary is not merely about introducing the words, explaining its meaning to the students, and having them memorize the word. Teaching vocabulary is more about encouraging the students to be words lovers and involving them to fit words into the word. Thus, they need a more innovative strategy which involves the students in an enjoyable and meaningful vocabulary learning process. Furthermore, the way most of the teachers teach vocabulary also affect the students' vocabulary development. They are not taught to teach all the language skills, yet rarely enrich their students' vocabulary by discussing deeply the vocabulary involved within. Lecturing is found to be the common strategy used in which they just explain the words and its meaning without further follow-up. And then here there is some innovations in teaching strategies that I will explain. The first is flip a chip and the second is word ladder. About flip a chip. Flip a chip is a strategy which originally developed by Lee Mountain, a professor at University of Houston, to promote students' vocabulary development. This strategy is highly recommended for those who want to teach vocabulary creatively and meaningfully. It is a new brand innovative strategy to teach as well as enrich vocabulary, which makes the learning activity comes into life. Unlike the conventional strategy in which students are spoon-fed, this kind of strategy allows the students to discover, produce, and learn vocabulary by their own within an enjoyable activities. There is some procedures of flip a chip. The first strategy: prepare a collection of chips. Use poker chips, but any chips or any harsicle are usable. The second, model the students how this strategy works by showing them two chips in which each side of the chips has different words. You can see the picture. Strengths and the weakness of flip a chip. None of the applied strategies is perfect. Every strategy must have its own good and bad in common. Like other strategy, flip a chip has several strengths and weaknesses for its implementation. The strengths of flip a chip: create a pleasantly literate environment in the classroom. The second, bring excitement to the students. The third, great to use for practice of spelling words and to develop reading skills. The fourth, applicable for all levels in which scaffolding of words and level is encouraged. And the last is suitable for both small and large number of class. Then for the weakness are need further adjustment for students who have visual impairment and for those with auditory impairments. And the second weakness is need further clarification to make sure the mixing of the flip chips doesn't bring confusing to the student. According to Fatahus Salam, word ladders are powerful tools for teaching students about the relationships among synonyms and antonyms. Therefore, this strategy is believed to effectively promote students' comprehension upon the meaning and concept of word as well as to increase their vocabulary. The application of this strategy could not be done simply. Students are given one word or key phrase, and then they are required to make a series of other words by changing or rearranging the letters in the word before. And here, the procedures of word ladder. The first is your word ladders with the class as a whole, or by having students work alone in pairs or in a group. The second, write the key phrase on the board and have the students copy it onto their paper. For example, team to work. And then the third, at each new word, students will be given 2 hints, the kind of changes they need to make the previous words, rearrange letter or add 2 letters, and a definition of or clue to the meaning of words. Sometimes this clue will be sentence in which the word is used in context but is left out for children to fill in. For example, the first hints, rearrange the letters in team to make a word that means. And then the food that comes from animal. So the answer is meat. So from the word team, T-E-A-M, then the another student give the clue, the food that comes from animal. So the another student rearrange the food from team to know the answer of the food that comes from animals. So the answer is meat. Okay, and then the next procedure is move from word to word this way, up the whole word ladders. And then the last is give feedback to the students throughout the lesson. Vocabulary by using word ladders is like bringing pleasing games to the students. Here there the strengths of word ladder. The first is the strategy is great for building students' decoding, phonics, spelling, and vocabulary skills. And then the second is the strategy helps extend students' understanding of word and concept since the puzzle adds a bit of meaning in the forms of definition. For example, make a word that means to say something. And then the third, word ladder enables the students to practice essential literacy skill unconsciously due to its scheme-like implementation. And the fourth, this strategy can help the students deepen their understanding of word relationship by having them sort the words into various categories. For the weaknesses of word ladders, students may have difficulty with certain words, especially the ones which have multiple meanings. And then the second, each time students generate a new word, teachers need to check and clarify whether it has correct spelling and fulfilling which is required by the hints. And then the third is sometimes the activity may take much longer, especially for those who have insufficient prior vocabulary knowledge and they do not understand the hints given. Okay, that's all about my presentation, Innovation in Teaching Strategies Vocabulary. I apologize if I have mistake during explaining this material. Thank you for watching my video. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.